Hey there, Saki here from SAKITECH, and in today's video we are going to do a full comparison between the iPhone X versus the Google Pixel 2 XL. Both of these smartphones were released in close proximity, the Pixel 2 XL in October and the iPhone X in November 2017. This is an interesting comparison because Google is doing what Apple does. It is running the purest version of Android and is fully optimized for the Pixel 2 XL, meaning they want to achieve a perfect fusion of hardware and software. Apple does the same with their iPhones. So of course people are wondering which one of these smartphones is better, and in this video I will tell you exactly that. So let's dive in and find which one is the winner. Let's start with the build and design. Before I dive in, make sure to subscribe to SAKITECH and make sure to click that notifications bell icon to get instant updates when I upload a video. Looking at the build, we can't complain either way. Pixel 2 XL is built out of glass on the front. On the rear, we have a unique mix with both aluminum and glass components. Basically, the area on the top where you see the camera and flash is housed in a rectangular glass overlay. With the iPhone X, you get a full glass build front and back with a metal band around the edges of the device. Therefore, both phones offer high-end builds. Now, when we look at the design, both phones are somewhat unique in their own respects. With the iPhone X, you have a large screen on the front with tiny bezels on all sides and a notch on the top. With the Pixel, you also have a large screen, but it is obviously not as pronounced as the iPhone X. In my opinion, the iPhone X looks better from the front, although I do prefer the rear of the Pixel to the iPhone X's rear. However, as a total package, iPhone X certainly looks like the more marvelous product. Both phones lack headphone jacks, offer Bluetooth 5.0, and have dual stereo speakers that produce great sound. Although I have to say the iPhone X's speakers seem to produce a slightly louder and richer sound. Additionally, both smartphones have the same IP67 water resistance rating, which will protect you from rainy days and accidental drops into water puddles. So overall, in this category, we have two smartphones with nearly identical features, although iPhone takes a slight lead with a better design and better stereo speakers. Next up, let's talk about the processor and memory. So the iPhone X sports a powerful A11 Bionic processor with 3GB of RAM and 64GB of storage for the base model. You can also acquire the iPhone X in 256GB if you desire more storage. The Pixel 2 XL has a Snapdragon 835 processor with 4GB of RAM and 64GB of internal storage for the base model, upgradable to 128GB if desired. Now, if we move on to the benchmarks, it is immediately clear that the iPhone X has quite a bit of raw horsepower that blows expectations. Pixel 2 XL is not a slow phone by any means, but iPhone's A11 Bionic chip has accomplished some incredible power output, which will possibly translate into great-looking, buttery smooth games and top-level augmented reality experience. In this category, the numbers cannot be ignored, and hence the win goes to the iPhone X in terms of processing power, which is the highlight. Now let's talk about the dimensions. The Pixel 2 XL measures 157.9mm in height, 76.7mm wide, and 7.9mm thick. It weighs 175 grams. The iPhone X measures 143.6mm in height, 70.9mm wide, and 7.7mm thick. It weighs 174 grams. So the iPhone X is a smaller phone but also makes better use of its total surface area, meaning you get a smaller footprint but a similarly sized display. So let's actually move on and talk about that display. So the iPhone X has a 5.8-inch Super AMOLED display with a resolution of 1125 by 2436 and 458 pixels per inches. The Pixel 2 XL has a 6-inch POLED display with a resolution of 1440 by 2880 with 538 pixels per inches. iPhone X display is HDR capable, while the Pixel 2 XL is not. Now, although the resolution of the Pixel is slightly higher than the iPhone, without a question the display on the iPhone is the better one. Its color accuracy is on point, it is more vibrant, and it simply feels better to look at than the Pixel 2 XL. Even though the Pixel 2 XL does not have a bad display, compared to the iPhone X, it does feel second-rate. So in this category, the win goes to the iPhone X. It has a better display with HDR capability. Now let's talk about the software. Let's look at the basics. The Pixel 2 XL runs on the latest version of pure Android, while the iPhone X runs on the latest version of iOS. When comparing iOS and Android, it is hard not to overlook two big differences. Number one is customization. Android's system is a much more open-ended environment and allows for extensive customization via widgets, third-party home screen launchers, themes, and other home screen tweaking options. You can tweak an Android smartphone to fit your personal sense of style. So basically, if you had 100 Android smartphones, you can literally make them all look different using software customization. iOS, on the other hand, when it comes to home screens, is just a static grid of app icons with very basic customization capabilities, such as being able to change your wallpaper. All iPhones will basically look the same within their software environment. On the other hand, iOS does offer some more polished apps and a greater gaming experience. Just about every game on the iPhone 8, including graphically demanding games, will run at maximum performance with smooth and lag-free gameplay, a feat Galaxy S8 won't be able to match. Additionally, the Apple App Store does yield a larger number of quality apps as opposed to the Google Play Store. So if you care about apps and games and how well they perform, this is certainly something to pay very close attention to. As for overall software responsiveness, without a question, both the iPhone X and Pixel 2 XL offer top-notch, lag-free, and a consistent experience thanks to their minimalistic nature. Pixel 2 XL does have built-in split-screen multitasking, which is a very useful feature to have. It allows you to have two windows running side by side at the same time, and it also supports PIP, known as picture-in-picture, which allows you to have a little window in which you can continue to watch a movie or a YouTube video while doing other things. iPhone does not support either one of these features. So with the software, on the one hand, you have the Google Pixel 2 with its open-ended system that allows for customization and productivity, versus the iPhone X with its closed-ended system that offers a wonderful app ecosystem with high-quality games and well-polished apps. I can't really assign a win here because this is a personal choice. However, I'm going to give Pixel a lead for having multitasking features. There's no excuse that the iPhone X does not support split-screen multitasking. Now let's move on and talk about that camera. The iPhone X has a dual camera system. The main camera is a wide-angle 12 megapixel f1.8 camera, and the second camera is a 12 megapixel telephoto camera with an aperture of f2.4. Pixel 2 XL has a single camera. It is 12 megapixels with aperture of f1.8. All cameras are optically stabilized. Now, seeing as the iPhone X has two cameras, one might think that it is the better camera. However, that's not the case. Both cameras on both smartphones are world-class cameras. For an average consumer, they will do a great job. And to be honest, even detail-oriented consumers will not see a major difference. The only extra feature you'll get on the iPhone X's camera will be the 2x optical zoom, thanks to that secondary telephoto lens, but the Pixel 2 will offer a slightly better low-light performance thanks to its software ingenuity. Both smartphones are capable of producing portrait shots with the bokeh effect. So although there are slight differences, as a total package, both cameras over-deliver. In the video department, all else being equal, iPhone X pulls slightly ahead by offering 4K recording at 60 frames per second or 30 frames per second, while the Pixel 2 XL only offers 4K at 30 frames per second. On the front, we have selfie cameras that do what they're supposed to do. 8 megapixels on the Pixel, 7 megapixels on the iPhone. Again, like I said, both of these cameras will produce excellent photos for the average consumer and even for the detail-oriented consumers. It's hard to criticize either camera. Alright, so let's move on to the battery. Both phones are able to last a full day with a full charge with medium to heavy use. Pixel has fast wired charging out of the box with the included charging adapter. However, the iPhone X will require you to purchase the fast charging compatible wall adapter if you wish to utilize that fast charging option. But both phones do have fast wired charging option. iPhone X has wireless charging while the Pixel 2 XL does not. In the battery department, I will call draw since Pixel 2 XL offers fast charging out of the box, but iPhone X counters with wireless charging. Now let's talk about biometrics and security. So the iPhone X has a new Face ID scanner, and that is all it has. The fingerprint sensor is gone. The Pixel 2 XL has a fingerprint scanner, but that is all that one has. It doesn't have Face ID, it doesn't have an iris scanner. So both the fingerprint sensor and the Face ID secure your phone from unauthorized access. It would be up for debate on which one is more preferable. Face ID works seamlessly, however, it requires you to face the phone, face the actual iPhone to unlock it, And the fingerprint sensor, because it is placed on the rear, requires you to pick up the phone to unlock it. So in either case, it's not as good as having a good old fingerprint sensor on the front of your smartphone. But the bottom line is both phones have one form of biometric security built into them, and that means we will call this a draw. So finally, let's talk about the prices. The iPhone X is $1,000 for the 64GB model, or you can pay $1,150 for the 256GB model in the United States. Pixel 2 XL is $850 for the 64GB model, or you can pay $950 for the 128GB model. Those are the prices. The iPhone X is definitely more expensive, but understand that the Pixel 2 XL is not a cheap smartphone either. iPhone X is $150 more expensive in relation to the base model. Alright, so let's tie everything together and define a conclusion and find out the winner. Now let me start off by listing the things that the iPhone X does better and also the things that the iPhone X has that the Pixel 2 does not. So number one, iPhone X has a more futuristic design, although I will say that is my subjective choice. Number two, iPhone X has a newer full screen display, and yes, it's not truly full screen, but you know what I'm talking about. Number three, iPhone X has a higher quality display with HDR playback capability. And number four, iPhone X has better stereo speakers. And finally, number five, iPhone X has wireless charging. So basically by this list, one can conclude that the iPhone X is a more technologically advanced product. Beyond those differences, both smartphones have great cameras and super smooth software operation with no lag for day-to-day use. They do have different ecosystems, but both excel in their respective ecosystem. Remember, Android is an open-ended and customizable, while iOS is closed-ended, non-customizable, but with a superior app ecosystem. The decision to choose the proper operating system is entirely up to you, but in this video, it is concluded that the iPhone X is certainly the more technologically attractive smartphone. Now the Pixel 2 XL is slightly cheaper, but because the iPhone X is better, the price hike justifies itself in my opinion. So if an average consumer walked in front of me and asked me the question, which one should I buy? I would tell them to get the iPhone X. Alright, so let me know down in the comments below whether you agree or disagree with my conclusion. And of course, make sure to subscribe to SAKITECH and give this video a thumbs up. And if you do use Instagram and Twitter, make sure to follow me on both @SAKITECH online. Guys, have a fantastic day.